We are one day away from finally having Eagles football. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, kick Dingbat here, and we are one day away from Eagles football. Yes, it's preseason, but guess what? It's football nonetheless, and I'm ready to watch it. Now, I know what's going to happen. By the time the first quarter's over, we're going to be like, we're ready for the regular season. But, look, I'll take what I can get because I need some football. And I will be streaming again, as always, every game in the preseason, regular season. So, if you want, come hang out with me tomorrow. Should be a lot of fun. Now, before we get into the Eagles-Bengals game and some of my thoughts on it, we got to talk about this because this is absolutely hilarious. This is the gift that keeps on giving, okay? And it's been so funny watching this whole thing takes place. Like, they could sign Micah tomorrow, which I wish they would sign him because I want them to ruin their team for the next 8 years. But this is funny. I've enjoyed this so much. Watching Mark Holmes try to think that it was some conspiracy that Jerry Jones and Micah were doing this just for public, to be out in the news. Now all of a sudden, he's starting to panic. He's starting to panic. Why? Because this with the Cowboys and what's going on with them, this is bad blood. This is bad blood, and the damage is done. Now it's getting to the point where Micah may not even play versus the Eagles week 1. The Score wrote this: Jerry Jones expresses doubt about whether Micah Parsons will play week 1 versus the Eagles amid his ongoing contract dispute. Now, I'll say this. There's 29 days, so we'll see what happens. But, I mean, if you get into the last, the week before the season, he hasn't practiced or done anything, he ain't playing. And that's a huge loss for the Cowboys. Apparently, it's only training camp, but apparently the Rams beat their ass in practice. So we'll see. But something to keep a watch on because Dallas does play the Eagles week 1. And remember, we play on a Thursday night, so we play a couple days early. So it's going to be interesting. Now, as far as the Eagles and their preseason game goes, we don't know if the Eagles are going to start their players or not. They haven't really said as of right now. Recent history suggests that they won't. The last 2 years, I don't think they've played any starters in preseason. I can tell you for 99.9%, Barkley is not playing. Barkley doesn't need to take a carry or a snap. He's already good to go. I highly doubt any of the offense will start. Maybe they get one series. What was it? The first or second year of Sirianni, he gave them like one series in the first preseason game, and then that was it. But the Bengals will be playing their starters, at least for the first quarter, it seems like. Bengals head coach Zach Taylor announced Joe Burrow and other big-name players will play several series on Thursday against the Eagles, and even more in their second preseason game versus the Commanders. So they're going to play their starters. I think, I don't bet the preseason. I'm not that big of a degenerate. So, but I think the Bengals are favored by like 6.5 points, something like that. So the Bengals are going to play their starters, and I highly doubt the Eagles will play their starters. If they do, it'll be like one series on offense. But what I do hope is that at least some guys on defense play. I think you've got a position battle, with Ringo and with Adoree Jackson. I want to see that translate and pan out during a preseason game. I want to watch that battle. I talked about bringing in Jacorian Bennett and the fact that maybe we should think about it a little differently. Maybe it's not just about the cornerback spot. Just a thought, right? I got people saying, you're just protecting Ringo. You're protecting. Why are you so set on Ringo starting? I don't care who starts. I care who wins the job, okay? I just can't write any player off 2 weeks into camp without one preseason game, without one snap of, joint practices. I can't just write a guy off, and I haven't even seen him in one preseason game. Let it play out. Okay, Adoree Jackson looks like right now he's winning that job. So be it. Let the best man win. I don't care who wins the job. I care that somebody wins the job. But I can't make any judgments about who's going to win the job without having even seen one preseason game. So I really hope tomorrow, and it will be my focus, I really hope tomorrow that Ringo and Adoree Jackson get a chance to play and compete. They're fighting for a starting job. What a better situation than an in-game to go out there and perform. Let's see the battle. That's, to me, the big battle, okay? As far as the safety position goes, it's a shame because I don't think Makuba is going to play at all because Vic Fangio said he highly doubt that he would play. Hopefully he will. So in the meantime, we're going to have to watch McCollum. We're going to have to watch Sidney Brown. And I hope that Sidney Brown goes out there and looks good. I do. That's important. Let the best men win the job, okay? Just somebody. That's all I ask. I'm very excited to see Jihaad Campbell. I hope I imagine he's going to get some snaps tomorrow night. So Jihaad Campbell playing, that's very, very exciting. I can't wait to see that. There's a lot of position battles, actually, that are going to be interesting to watch. Not just whether or not the starters are playing. So I think that there's going to be value in watching the preseason game into the fourth quarter. I really do, okay? Like, for example, I think the tight end spot, right? We've talked so much about the tight end in the offseason with what was going to happen to Dallas Goedert, were they going to keep him, were they going to trade him, what was going to happen. Now, we've brought in a bunch of tight ends. I've heard basically nothing on any of them. Any of them. You hear Dallas Goedert, you hear Calcaterra, and then who? I remember E.J. Jenkins from last year in preseason. I thought he looked really good. I want to see what he can do tomorrow. You got Harrison Bryant, Nick Muse, and Cameron Latou. Can anybody challenge Calcaterra for that second job? It doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like it at all. You have the spot at right guard going, which seems like Steen is going to win that job. But can Trevor Keegan, will he even play? I know he's had a back issue, but can he even play and show me something? Maybe he should be the backup. I'm really curious about that. Then you look at the wide receivers, you know what you have at the wide receiver spot with the first three. But what about Elijah Cooks? Every game, every practice, the guy's making plays. Will he go out there in a preseason and make a play? I mean, if Elijah Cooks goes out and balls out, 6'4", 215 pounds, we got to find a way to keep him on this roster, man. We do. Terrence Marshall, we heard great things about him, all OTAs, all camp. What is he going to do? I'm very curious. Ainias Smith. Ainias Smith was a guy that I was really high on when they drafted him. He's listed in their unofficial depth chart. Let me see here. They got him listed as a second slot receiver behind Jahan Dotson. Can he go out and make a play? That's what I want to know. So there's a lot to watch here, especially with these position battles. I want to see Will Shipley in his second year. Not to mention, we've heard a lot about Shenderick Powell. I expect Shenderick Powell to get a lot of carries, especially in the fourth quarter of preseason game. So we're going to get a really, really good look at Shenderick Powell, the running back. I'm very curious to see how he does, So there's a lot to say here. A lot going on. Who's texting me? I always get texted during videos. I hate that. And then the cornerback situations, Mac McWilliams, how's he going to do? Tristan McCollum at safety. And then, of course, who the hell's going to return punts for us? Is Cooper DeJean going to be the starter all year at returning? I mean, that's dangerous. We know Vic Fangio doesn't like that. So who's going to step up there? Could Ainias Smith, a guy who supposedly can do it, can he do the returns and win a spot that way, kind of like Britt and Covey did. So there's a lot of questions going into this game. My biggest ones, like I said, I got to watch that cornerback battle. That cornerback battle to me is primo. I highly doubt Jacorian Bennett plays. I mean, he hasn't even practiced yet, so I don't see him playing. But it should be an interesting night. If the starters play, great. If they don't, I'm not going to complain about it. It's worked for us in the past. But as far as the rookies, I want to see them on the field like Jihaad Campbell. I can't wait to see what he does, and and some of these other guys. So it's going to be a lot to watch. Looking forward to it. Come hang out with me. Should be fun. And with that said, take care. Talk to you later, of course. Don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision, baby. We're all just living in it. I don't know how Mark is going to make it. I don't know how he's going to make it. I mean, this whole Micah Parsons thing, I've never seen Mark not talk about Dak Prescott for so long. I think he only mentions Dak like 8 times a video instead of about 32 times. So Micah Parsons got Mark Holmes rattled. He's rattled. Denzel Washington out. That's all, folks.
The brother screwed us.